Welcome back to my channel. Let's get into a Q&A moment. I thought that was the vibe today, and if you're wondering, hey girl, where are you? Amazing question. I'm in my front room. I felt like the lighting was really good and it's just kind of like a green vibe and I'm feeling green. Okay, so I have not one, count them, two Cherry Cokes. It's gonna be a long video. Strap up, get a snack, saddle in, we're going on the Dominator right now. I don't really like Cherry Coke that much, so it's gonna keep me pacing myself drinking it, is the game plan with it. You guys really like my podcast episodes when I do those specifically on like big sister advice, answering your questions, and I think they're really fun. And I'll be so for real with you guys. My weeks right now, I'm just doing chemistry the whole time. That's my weekly vlog. So I don't think that I have that much really going on that's interesting. And so I figured this would be the little vibe today. I asked on my Instagram story for some questions for you guys and I put them on a little doc and I'm gonna answer just some questions and we're gonna hang out. I hope you're having a great week. Let me know tea that's going on in your own life right now. Maybe answer some of these questions for yourselves. I think that could be really fun. So cheers to that, let's get into it. My I am just went off. I am filled, what did it say? I am filled with inner calm and peace. Cute! Okay, I didn't really organize these in any particular way. I just went down the list and put them in my notes. So sorry if you're like a structured listen, okay? I think it's fun when they're random because then I don't know what to expect versus it being, you don't care. You clicked on it, you don't care. How do you maintain your abs through your bulking phases? Numerous things. So number one is gonna be genetics. Some people just have more definition within their stomach. For me personally, I did not always have that. I've been lifting for 4 years and a lot of the maintaining my abs through growing phases came with training my abs intensely and just time and consistency. So I train my abs year round because they're muscles, right? And growing them can help them show at higher body fat. A lot of having abs comes down to just being low body fat. So it's very normal to not maintain them through bulking phases. Fully aware that my stomach definition is probably going to soften up a little bit as I gain some weight. And that's just because I'm gaining weight. Like, it's okay. That's normal, you know? But I still do have some prominent definition even as I'm gaining weight, just because I still train my abs intensely, and that's come with years of growing and cutting phases in which I've revealed some of that definition. Someone said, would you ever think about competing? What are your thoughts on bodybuilding? My mom used to compete actually way before me, okay, way before me. Thought about it, I know it's in my blood or whatever. I don't know if it makes the most sense for my routine right now. It's very expensive, first of all, and I respect the sport a lot, and if I were to do it, not to sound cocky, I think I would do really well in it. I love being the center of attention and like putting on a show. Guys, I was a theater kid in middle school, okay? I've always loved the stage and performing and doing something really cool and having that, like the endorphins of being with spotlights. It's so fun for me and it combines everything that I love into one thing. The only reason that I'm hesitant to do it is because number one, it's expensive, not even just money-wise, but time-wise with school and with coaching and so much other things going on. Go to the gym for 2 separate things for fasted cardio and I just don't feel like that makes the most sense with my routine right now. I've spent a lot of my fitness journey so far in very dedicated growing and cutting phases, and I've loved those things, but I feel like right now I have nothing wrong with maybe doing it in the future. I have thought about it. I just honestly don't even know what would make the most sense. I think I would do bikini. I don't think I have enough leg mass for wellness. Maybe I just need to train harder. I don't know. I think it is really cool, but I think it also sort of goes against a little bit of what I feel like I've been trying to do, which is reduce stress and reframe diet and exercise. So I don't really know the answer to that. If I were to compete, it would be in like 2 years. I would really want to give myself an off season. I am not an X-Men, but I can be. I don't think anytime in the near future it would just make the most sense for my goals and for my stress right now. How do you deal with feeling guilt on rest days? I got this question quite frequently. It's always important to keep things in check and keep things in perspective. The gym and exercise is a positive addition on an already full life, right? It's something that helps you prolong a life outside of it where you feel good and you're strong and things like that, depending I guess on what your kind of goals are with that. So time off is important. Number one, from a hypertrophy perspective, you're breaking down your gym, you're the Hulk. You're breaking down your body in the gym. Outside of it is where it repairs itself and gets stronger for you, right? So it's imperative to take your rest days, period. For guilt around that, you're doing nothing wrong by resting. Rest is an important part of getting stronger, of healing, and of rejuvenating yourself, okay? I kind of feel like I'm in an Olay commercial. I'm thinking of Jennifer Aniston right now. How's her day going? I hope well. If you feel a compulsive need to be doing something on rest days, I would analyze your perspective on the gym. Because I'm also somebody, I like doing things all the time, but there should be other things within your life, whether that's school or other hobbies that you enjoy spending time with friends and families, doing nothing, literally sitting and doing nothing, that you also allow yourself to do, because that's part of being human as well. Your life is not just what you do at the gym today. You're also a person. You're also a friend, a, partner, I don't know, who else, a dog. There's no reason to feel guilty. Guilt as an emotion is only felt when you're doing something wrong. And from a scientific standpoint, you're doing the necessary steps to grow muscle. And also just from a human standpoint, there's nothing wrong with resting. You need it. And things don't need to be productive to be useful, but it might be helpful to reframe of the more that you can give yourself quality rest, the more that you can qualitatively perform when you do get to go to the gym. Because the gym is always there. If you need time to take a moment off to do your homework, to be a person, like that's okay, that's allowed. Do you feel stress around not going? That is already proving to you that you're the type of person that has no issue going to the gym. So you know that on the other side of rest that you're going to be consistent again. Does that make sense? So maybe find some peace in knowing that your stress around not going is proof that you're not gonna have any problem going when you do get to go. So you can take however long that you need off without feeling the pressure of never returning. Is taking creatine really worth it? So creatine is the #1 most researched supplement out there. You naturally produce it already. Okay, even if you're a fear monger of it, it's in your brain right now. It's in the room with us. The calls from inside the house. It's been linked to improvements in cognitive ability, like brain function. It's great for muscle recovery and strength and endurance, and just overall, it's one of the best things that you can take. Now, do you need to take it? No. It's expensive. It's already in you. Supplementing it, just with the word, think about what it's doing. It's just supplementing it. So yes, it can kind of enhance its effects, and I do think that it's very helpful, but it's not necessary. If you're someone who's on a budget, I would save your money, honestly, because you do already produce it. But if I had to recommend any supplement for anybody, even outside of protein, it would be creatine, because it is very helpful. Have I seen specific results the second I started taking it? No, because it's a supplement, and it's in addition to numerous other things of consistency, diet, how long I've been training, things like that. So I understand it's not make or break, but in my head, I know that I train pretty intensely, so to have something that I know generally is going to help me with my recovery, I think is beneficial. So I would say it is worth it if you have the financial means to invest in it. Just any kind of monohydrate is your moment. I use the creatine from Legion. You can use code Haley if you want to, but you can get them off Amazon or anything. HCl creatine is a little bit better quality, but it is more expensive because of that. So that's kind of up to you, but either does the job. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're taking a monohydrate, perfect. Just make sure you stay hydrated with it, because it pulls water into your muscles, and that's how some people can say, oh, it's bad for your kidneys. Just drink water. How do you deal with stress of not knowing if you're eating enough or if you're eating too much when you're not tracking? When I read that, my first question to you is to ask yourself questions. What is stressful about not knowing for you? I get very introspective with everything. You guys should know this by now. But a lot of the questions had a theme of food and causing stress. Stress, I'm not saying stress is an option. I feel like viewing things objectively could be very helpful, because at the end of the day, okay, let's say that you are not tracking right and you feel like you've gone over for the day. That doesn't mean that that needs to be stressful. That might just be what has happened. You may have eaten more than usual today. Why is that stressful for you? What around going over a caloric limit causes you to feel anxiety, right? Analyze that. What beliefs do you hold with going over? Sounds weird and therapy coded, but truly ask yourself. I think a lot of people fail to have that discernment with themselves, where it's what is stressful about going over? Okay, well, I'm gonna gain weight. Okay, what about that is stressful for you? If I do move in a certain direction as a result of my eating habits, that's not a stressor, that's just a sign to pivot for me. I trust myself to handle what happens as a result of my actions. There's nothing wrong with things going a certain way, making mistakes, doing things incorrectly, because you have yourself to rely on. So it shouldn't be a stressor of well, I don't know if I've done this. Just try, stay consistent with your efforts, and then understand that you always have your response if it does get to a point that you feel uncomfortable with. But that's no reason to be stressed around those things. How do you love or accept yourself when you have a lot of stretch marks? This question made me really sad. Stretch marks are sick, dude. I think it's so cool to think about the human body. I guess we are animals, but a genuine being. I think they're called tiger stripes or tiger marks or something. The fact that your body is able to have a sign that you're growing and taking up more space is so cool. That is cool and beautiful. I love stretch marks. I do have some on my thighs. I'm wearing sweatpants. These are Nicks, not mine. Okay, this is my shirt. You knew that I had to have some element of not not my clothes on my body at all times. But I do have some stretch marks and I think they're awesome. I think they're beautiful. I think it's such a cool thing that your body is able to adapt to your life changes and have a sign of growth. That's so cool. And you should love your stretch marks. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but your body is the least interesting thing about you anyways. So I'm realizing this is a Q&A and I'm just asking you questions, but seriously, my question to you would be, why can't you love yourself with stretch marks? What do stretch marks limit you to? What about them bothers you so much? Maybe it's implications that you hold that you could analyze about that, but what they are themselves is a sign of growth. That's awesome. And at the end of the day, you can love yourself no matter how you look, because you should love being yourself, and that has no need for things to look a specific way at all. That is more of a process of experiencing yourself. And living alongside me with or without stretch marks, I can enjoy that time. How I look and weird marks and cool things and scars and, you know, birthmarks and whatever it is are signs that I've lived. They're like, I'm thinking of Pompeii. I don't know what, or my Roman Empire is Pompeii. I'm always thinking about it, okay? But these signs of living where you can go into somebody's home and like see what they have decorated and stuff, that's kind of what your body is. Like if you are somebody who struggles with, you know, certain marks, or maybe you had a surgery and you have a scar or something, any kind of thing that you might feel insecure about on your body, that is a sign that you've lived a life. That's sick. Scars are a sign that you healed through something hard. Wear that proudly, you know? That's so cool to me. So I hope that you can be kind to yourself, and I love stretch marks. It's no reason not to love yourself, okay? What are your goals for 2025, fitness, life, etc.? Great question, and thank you so much, because I need to make my mood board. I made one for I make one every year, and I set it as my background, like on Canva, for my laptop. Personal goals for 2025, I want to travel so much more. I feel like right now is the time where I have the least amount tying me down of like children, or, you know, my schedule is allowed because I'm doing online school and things like that. And my coaching I can technically bring with me. There's a squirrel outside the window right now. What was I just saying? Oh, I do have a passport from when I went to Quebec in middle school. It's very expired though, and the process of getting my passport renewed, I don't even know what that entails, but I just know that it's probably incredibly inconvenient. You know, you're gonna be standing in some line for 8 hours just for them to like take a picture and that's it. You know, and I'm like, I don't really feel like doing that. So within the States though, because I do live in the US, I do want to travel and visit new towns. I would love to go to Texas or to Maine. There's so many places that I would love to visit. Nashville would be so cool. That would just take more planning on my part, and I do struggle a little bit sometimes with spending money. And obviously like plane tickets and stuff. I've never been the type of person to just like travel for funsies, and I want to challenge myself to do that in 2025. I'm incredibly blessed that I have more financial means to make those decisions. It just comes now with me pushing myself to actually make them, because I think it's so cool to experience new things. And outside of that, if I do get my passport renewed, oh, the world's my oyster and we're at a bar and I'm slurping it up, okay, with a lemon, because I want to go everywhere. I want to go to Europe so bad. I want to go to Australia, family stuff in Spain. I want to go to Puerto Rico. That's like my bucket list. I was going to go visit my uncle in Puerto Rico years ago, but the year that we were planning on going was the year they had that really bad hurricane and it didn't end up working out. So I really want to go there eventually. Just so many places, travel. From a fitness aspect, I'm at a pretty secure spot with my fitness stuff right now, where I don't really know what specific goal I would have for it for 2025. I mean, I obviously want to get as strong as I can, feel the best that I can. I don't know if that's a goal like aesthetically, but that's just my goals. It's capability focused. It's how I feel. And I guess a lot of that is just gonna be, we'll meet that Haley when it comes kind of thing. But mainly life goals is really just getting out of my shell a little bit more and explore a lot of things. And that can be hobbies, that can be places, you know, maybe it's something like running. I don't know, don't get excited about that. Really growing my business and my coaching as much as I can, and hopefully being able to, you know, with content stuff, I have like goals with that. I feel like talking about that kind of sounds like icky, like, oh, I want to reach like 300K or something like that. I feel like that's kind of like, okay, shut up. But that is a goal of mine. I think it could be really cool to, you know, have analytical goals and grow my podcast and maybe do some more collaborations with other people. I have a really exciting one coming up in January that I cannot wait to tell you guys about as well. Getting more comfortable in kind of the creator space and then creating my life outside of my home. Okay. Not every answer needs to be like, great girl. Okay, sorry. Someone asked, would you ever do meetups? I would love the idea of that, but I'm gonna be honest, no. In our world right now, it's just not safe unless you're taking a lot of safety precautions, like having, you know, it monitored and being in a public whatever, and I just get a little bit nervous about that. I am not that important to where I figure that it would be like a big crowd of people. But I'm just, for safety reasons, no, I would not do meetups. I would love to meet you guys, and I have had a few people come up and say hi, and that's so cool to me. I'm sorry if I'm awkward, okay? It's still like just a crazy idea that there are people that are like for real out there that like watch my videos. So cool, it means so much to me. But just from a safety thing, I probably wouldn't do like meetups unless it was at like an event or something where it's already kind of monitored. What are your nail care tips? They always look so good. Thank you for asking. I set a New Year's resolution, guys. I painted these black recently. It was right before my chemistry test. I was like, what color am I feeling? Grim. Focus on me. Look at that, I grew that. That's pretty good. Biggest tip with it is going to be patience. Because starting off in January, I had brittle little, like I was getting dip nails and they file them down so paper thin. And it takes a few seasons of like, they're gonna just chip off and look bad, but a lot of making sure that you're prioritizing your nutrients. Okay, I don't take like a hair nair a vitamin for my nails, but I think just having vitamins throughout your diet is really important for having strong nails, making sure you're getting your calcium. Okay, your biotin, you don't eat that, but I don't pick at my nails really ever, which I think also really helps. When I paint my nails, I do it all the time. I do it all the time, and there's like 20 coats on here, and I think the more coats you do, I do like 10 coats of nail polish because it helps make it thicker, and I think it helps them last longer. They do chip pretty often. That's the one thing that has kind of been like a little tempted of like, oh, I want to go and get my nails done again because they chip so much, especially with the gym, with typing and whatever. Like that part is annoying for sure, but I just paint them all the time, every day, almost what it feels like. And that helps them with thickness, and I think it's just helped them grow overall. Someone said, fuck, marry, kill, fajitas, burritos, or nachos. I love these kind of questions, and I have my answer. As much as I love a good nacho, if they're not made correctly, usually half the chips are just plain and you not even covered with anything, and there's no toppings on there. I don't really eat them regularly, so I would kill nachos. I think I would marry burritos because they're the most versatile. You can make a breakfast burrito. I mean, we're talking like, I'm thinking an egg salad. You got your like steak burrito. You could do my banana burrito, bitch. Oh yeah, marrying that for stability, and then I'm gonna fuck fajitas because they're always a sizzling fun time. You know, they're spewing oils at you. Like it's an auditory experience. We're having fun. It's a throwdown with my fajitas, and you know when it's coming too. You know what I'm saying? You're whipping your neck. You are. There's so many innuendos about fajitas. Hell yeah, that's my answer with that. I'm locking that in. I feel good about that. Advice on holiday dinners or holidays in general. Holidays are meant to be enjoyed. That's one of the beautiful parts of life, is celebrating things and having different cultures where you're able to sit down with a group or whoever, appreciate things and concepts and ideas and heritage, culture. So cool. It's not worth sitting it out for what? The same way that you don't make progress in a day, in a week, in a month, really, you're not gonna lose it in that time either. So please enjoy yourself, okay? Of course you can be mindful. I mean, just general tips. If it's like a Thanksgiving moment, usually they have smaller plates. Maybe try starting with that and starting with your like veggies and protein sources before moving on to your other sort of things there. And then you can always get more, you can always refill it. It's not in a restrictive way, but it just paces yourself a little bit better. That might help you enjoy the food and slow down a little bit, because if you go into it super stressed, another thing too, make sure you're eating throughout the day, right? If you're going into it super stressed, you're more likely to overeat, overindulge, because there's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, because number one, you're going into it starving, and number two, you're looking for it to fulfill this crazy stressful need, versus if you can just take time with it and remember that food is not scarce, really having that abundance mindset and enjoying the holiday for what it is. Food is meant to connect people, right? So what that does is while you're eating it, you're with other people, you're enjoying the moment, and you're having fun and living life. And it's not worth restricting, it's not worth not enjoying those things. That's like the whole point of things. We lift and move and drink water and try to sleep so that we can live longer and have more fun. And that includes things like Christmases and like Thanksgivings and pumpkin pie. I promise enjoying holidays is not gonna set you back as much as it will mentally if you sit it out, because you're gonna look back on that time and be like, damn dude, I wish that I let myself enjoy what I was able to in the moment. You know, it's really not worth it, I promise. What are you currently studying and planning on doing with your degree? So I'm getting my bachelor's in healthy lifestyles and fitness science through ASU's online program. So it's kind of like a exercise science degree, but a little bit more lifestyle focused. And I really liked their program because it had a little bit less science and more of the psychology stuff, which you guys know I love talking about that and how it can like the implementation of healthy habits and how it can change your frameworks and things like that. Love it. Big picture, what I plan on doing with it, honestly, I'm not quite sure. I do want to do personal training, and I have my own business that I'm continuing on growing, and I wanted to get my personal training certificate before I started my business. So I did that first because I obviously, just from an educational standpoint, you don't have to do that. A lot of coaches don't have any kind of degree, or everybody is different. For me personally, I wanted to have that so that I had the most knowledge I could to give to my clients. So education is very important for me generally, just to have a bachelor's in something. I fear that it is helpful just in a job world to have a bachelor's in literally anything, and so I really want to just get that kind of as a anchor and as a solid foundation. But in the future, I would love to just be a coach full time. It's so fun, it's so fulfilling, it's what I love doing, and I hope that I can grow my education, grow my business, so that once I graduate, I'm able to pursue that more at a full time. I mean, I guess I already do it full time, but I'm also doing school too. But kind of a side note, in the future, I've even thought about as like a part-time job in addition to my coaching, being like a spin instructor. I love the spin classes, and like doing it like maybe 2 times a week or something, like teaching a class. I think would be so fun, and that would be more of like a structured work job life moment. That would be way down the line and not something that I'm even thinking about doing right now, but just potentially as like a future job thing. But honestly, a coach is my dream job, and I feel so lucky to live a version of it every single day now, and I'm so grateful for it. So thank you for supporting me. It really does mean everything to me. What is a canon event that you see in a lot of people's fitness journeys that you would give advice on avoiding? Great question. I already know. Fat intake. Everybody, I think, goes through a phase where they learn about macros. They decide, oh, if I don't include fat, because it is the densest, okay, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, 1 gram of carb is 4 calories, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, okay? If you start tracking, you might notice, oh, if I don't include egg yolks, or if I don't include cheeses or whatever, then I can eat so much more throughout my day without it taking me over my calories. Is that true? Yes. Is fat an optional macronutrient and something that you can like play around with how low you can go? No, it's not. It's crucial, especially for women, okay? For hormone function, for brain function, for nutrient absorption, okay? I would argue that somebody eating pure protein with no fat and somebody eating more fat and a little bit less protein is probably getting more out of their diet because they're actually absorbing the nutrients and vitamins because they're eating the macronutrient that does that for them. And also from a satiety standpoint, I promise you, eating fat, you will feel so much better. You will feel so much better, okay? I know logistically having a big plate of like egg whites with like all this stuff on there might make you think, oh, I'm gonna feel so full. And maybe you do for a little bit, but I promise you mentally, you just feel so much more satiated when you include fat with your diet. So please avoid that, okay? Your hormones will thank you, your mood will thank you, and you're just gonna feel so much better. I really promise, okay? Regardless of what your goals are, you need to be eating your damn fats. Would you consider yourself a stoic person? Yes, I would. I actually got really into stoicism my freshman year of college. I think I have a little bit more of a flexible approach with it though, because a lot of it is, I wanted to get a stoic tattoo with the quote, I think it was like l'amour fati, which is just love of fate. Basically meaning whatever happens is what happens, and you're just gonna love that for what it is because that's just how life works kind of thing. And I do kind of think that way. Sorry, my cartilage piercing. Oh, I put my headphones on the wrong way the other day and now it's like irritated and now I'm never gonna not itch for the next like 8 business years. What was I saying? It's not that I don't agree with that. I mean, I do think that it's kind of like a whatever happens, happens, and to trust yourself to be able to handle whatever it is that happens in your life. But also with certain things, I'm thinking of very traumatic events, it almost comes across as insensitive of, you know, I know times where I lost like 4 people really close to me, like they passed away, and for someone to be like, well, like just love the fate, like that's just fate, so it's destined and you can enjoy it. It's like, okay. I do love and appreciate stoicism, and I've learned a lot from that philosophy, but I am a little bit more like realistic sometimes with how it's like integrated within certain things. But generally speaking, I do agree with its principles, but I don't know if I would like put stoic in my bio or something, you know, I don't know. Team Stefan or Team Damon for Vampire Diaries? Team Klaus. Something about him just being like a fucking mutant and like she can fix him and bring the heart out of the crazy like... So low-key Team Klaus, okay? But generally Team Damon. I think everybody starts as Stefan and then they move to Damon, but I think real ones, once they get really into it, you become Klaus, because then it's like, he just needs love. You know, he's misunderstood. In his accent, If you get it, you get it. I have no other words for that. One of the questions, why do you eat your meat when it's still red inside? That made me audibly laugh when I read that, because it's better and it's good. And if you like well done steak, you can go ahead and exit the tab and exit to the left and enjoy your day at King's Dominion right on. How do you stay off your phone and balance screen time? I'm gonna be so honest, I absolutely do not, and I do not want you guys to ever get it twisted. This is my biggest struggle right now, is my screen time is terrible. It'd be interesting maybe to learn about from like a content creator standpoint. I'm on my phone all day. And it's difficult for me to find balance with it because a lot of my work is through social media. So I'm filming everything all the time. I'm constantly like, when I go to, film, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm complaining, I'm just talking about it, like film my food, I'm setting things up, and when I'm, going to the gym, I'm filming it. When I'm not doing those things, I'm editing those videos or I'm responding to comments. I'm on my phone all the time. I justify that by, it is part of my work, and I'm incredibly grateful that it's portable in that way. But sometimes it can kind of mentally be a little bit difficult because I feel like I'm just wasting kind of like my life being like face down into a screen all the time. But I feel like this question was asked assuming that I do a really good job at that. I don't. I've set screen time limits. I ignore them every single day. I'm trying to learn how to balance that a little bit, but I'm on my phone pretty much all day. Sometimes that bothers me more than other days. I just do the best that I can. That's why I don't record every single day that I eat or every single workout that I have ever, because I try to find a balance of like having days with myself and not recording everything, because then it does start to feel like everything is for a video. And I'm incredibly grateful that I even get the chance to think about things in that way. But at the end of the day, I do try to have a few things for myself as well. And that's why I keep my relationship pretty much private. I film usually when I'm by myself just because I like to keep other aspects kind of with me. But I do struggle with that a lot, so I don't really have advice for that. Screen limits can help if you actually listen to them, but I don't. What are your favorite DFYNE products? Great question. So my favorite shorts are Impact shorts, absolutely, over Dynamic. Impact have a lower waistline, and they just are a lot more flattering in my opinion. I wear a size medium in pretty much everything, so I love their Impact shorts for shorts. For sports bras, the Impact bras, they're the ones that are backless. Love those, and I love the, not crew necks. You know what I'm talking about? The, like, tank tops. Love them. I think they're the Origin, I believe. Love those. And my favorite thing throughout the day is the Lanny sets, the sweat sets. You guys have seen me in them so many times. They are so incredibly comfortable. They're the oversized hoodies. 10 out of 10 would recommend, my favorite. I do have a code HaleyC for any of that, but the Lanny sets I truly live in. They are so comfortable. So comfortable. What's your go-to Chipotle order? I'm so glad that you asked. Brown rice, double steak, extra veggies, okay? No beans. Hear me out. All of the salsas, so the mild, the medium, and the hot. Corn, sour cream, cheese, lettuce. And then if they have the green Tabasco, when you go, a cup of that. A whole cup of it in there. And you mix it up until it's goopy, and that's it. So good. Ugh, I gotta go get Chipotle now, I'm thinking about it. How old am I? I'm 21. What is your favorite Thanksgiving dish? Okay, are we counting deviled eggs as a Thanksgiving dish? I don't know, I love deviled eggs. That is one of those things, oh, give me a tray and they're gone. But I don't know if that counts as Thanksgiving. We love a sweet potato casserole. I mean, duh. Honestly though, I think my favorite, hear me out, okay, it's either stuffing or green bean casserole. I fuck up a green, with the crispy little onions on there. Oh, it's so good. And homemade stuffing, ooh, so freaking delicioso. I don't know if YouTube like censors certain things or is gonna get mad at me, so I'm gonna try to like censor this, but someone said, you mentioned you used to hit blinkers. Do you still indulge with gardening from time to time? Not really anymore, honestly. If my friends had some and like we were doing it together, like yeah, I would be down to, but I don't, it's very expensive and I prefer being sober. I'm not really big on the substances anymore. I just like being present. Don't get me wrong, I wanna fuck up a margarita when I can, okay? And like I drink at events and stuff like that, and it is fun, but I get really anxious with alcohol. So my relationship with it is kind of weird because I do enjoy it literally only in the present moment, and every moment following that I'm a wreck. So it's just kind of not really worth it for me. But everything in moderation. Whatever you do, just do it safely and do it with people that you love and in an environment that is safe. It makes sense, you know? Cardio before or after a workout. Big picture doesn't really matter. I would recommend after though, because it's the most important from a hypertrophy perspective that you're giving the most intensity with your resistance training. And that's easiest when you're really focusing on that first, and then cardio is more mindless kind of exercise. So you can, burn whatever you burn by doing your settings on the treadmill or the stairs or whatever. But it's really important to focus the majority of your energy as you're starting to hit okay, on your weights to really make sure that you're training with intensity there, and then you can kind of move on to the mindless stuff after is what I would recommend doing cardio after. But it doesn't really matter if you're able to start with it and still give proper intensity with your lifts. I mean, more power to you, but typically speaking afterwards is usually what people do, just because it is a little bit more difficult to do like 45 minutes of stairs and then go into a leg day. Usually that just doesn't really make sense. Do you have lip filler? No, I don't. I love my lips though. Can I get a close up and lip fill? I love my lips. I think I have a pretty good form. The only cosmetic surgery that I've ever gotten with anything like enhancement, anything, is I got my nose done in 2021. Or no, 2022, yeah. I had a deviated septum, so I needed to get a septoplasty anyways, but I wanted to get a little bit of cosmetic change within that, so I saved up literally all of my money working at a Wegmans pizza shop. That was the first big purchase I ever bought myself, was that. I paid for it all myself. I wanted to do it since I was in like kindergarten. Like my big moment of, you know what, I'm gonna save up all my money. Once I get my septoplasty, I'm gonna get a rhinoplasty as well. But no, do not have any lip filler, but thanks for asking. Are you taking birth control? No, I took it in the past. I was on Junal. From middle school till like junior year of high school, I was on birth control, but I stopped taking it and I have not taken it since. And I noticed a huge difference, not even aesthetically, but in how I felt. My mood has been so much better without it, and I don't want to ever go back on it. If it helps you, or if you're on it for your own reasons, that's fine, but I'm not on birth control right now, and I have not been on it for the past like 3 almost years now. How do you push through that last final rep? I go into any exercise asking myself, how can I make myself the most proud? You're not going into a leg press thinking it's gonna be easy, okay? You're there because you know it's hard and you're still there and you're still showing up for yourself. That already is so admirable. So I get excited when I feel it get really hard because I know how much better I'm gonna feel on the other side of it, knowing that it was that hard and knowing that I pushed myself through it. So you're the type of person, if you're even asking that question, that you know that hard work is something you want to give yourself. And so it just comes down to implementing that, right? Feeling that burn and pushing through it anyways, and knowing that afterwards you're able to give yourself that proudness of going in general, but also knowing that that took a lot in you and leaving nothing in the tank. That is such a gratifying feeling to have, of leaving and knowing that like you gave it, you're all good shit, dude. High five. We're opening Coke number 2, by the way. How has therapy changed you? Oh, if it's a feasible resource for you, if you have access to it, I would 1,000 out of 10 recommend therapy. I've been in it for over a year now and it's changed my life, truly. It's so important to have the opinion of somebody else who is not friends or family. They're not biased, they're not social media, to tell you, or to even just to talk openly to somebody. You don't realize how many weird rules that you held for yourself or beliefs about yourself or the world until somebody else mirrors them back to you and you're able to sit back and be like, oh, what the fuck is that? Like, oh, why did I think that? There were so many things that I didn't realize I felt or thought until she asked me to ask myself about them. And then I realized I didn't have the answer. So it's taught me the most about just introspection and the importance of asking myself questions throughout the day of like, does this make sense? Am I enjoying this? What is this giving me? What do I think this is giving me? And I think you might even tell that through my content. I'm always asking you guys to ask yourself questions because it's so helpful. That's where you get your answers, is by asking questions. So whatever it is that you're struggling with, if you are looking for answers, that depends on you becoming inquisitive with yourself. How do you structure journal entries? Great question. I don't think I would even recommend you to have structure with them because I journal consistently, the aspartame is getting to me. I'm kidding. Hey, delete your paragraph, I'm kidding. I'm an aspartame advocate, actually. Starting off, I thought that journals needed to be, what am I talking about today? What's gonna be my like discussion board post with my journal, myself? And then I never want to do it because I thought that every morning I had to wake up and give some like Wikipedia article on how I was feeling or something, and there does not need to be any structure at all. And my journal entries when I wake up are like, I slept so bad last night, this is what I get to do today, this is some highlights. I always talk about gratitude in my things of, this is something that really cool that happened yesterday, this is something that I'm really looking forward to doing, this is the highlight of my night, my favorite memory recently, whatever. You just start talking to yourself. I think that's really cool to think about in the future, looking back on what I was thinking about when I was 21, or like the cool little things. I think you lose sight of your growth when you don't have some kind of record of it. So, and I even know that because I was reading some of my journal entries from like last year and little things of like, oh, I hope that I can start a YouTube channel soon. And it's like such a pure thing to kind of look back and be like, you did do that, And I feel like you don't have that unless you have a journal. maybe, unless you could do like video diaries or something like that, whatever, but I think having record is really important. So, but there doesn't need to be any structure with it. I would just start with, how am I feeling right now? And you can even be writing things of like, this is so stupid, I don't want to do this, what am I doing? Cool, you got it out of your brain, it's somewhere else now, and now you can go about your day. I think it's really beneficial. How is your growing phase going, and how are you feeling with everything? I'm doing really well, thank you for asking. Every day is different. I mean, that's my answer today. You know, sometimes I do feel a little bit uncomfortable just because I don't really know, like, ooh, like, was that for real a surplus, or like, was that whatever, and then I do get a little bit insecure. Just about, not even insecure, but I don't have the structure of knowing specific numerically what I'm sitting at. And even when I do kind of feel like, ooh, actually I don't know how much that was, or like maybe I kind of overate or whatever, I view things so big picture, it really doesn't bother me. And I focus so much on the positives. If I am sleeping a lot better, I do feel a lot better. I do notice my strength is better, my energy is better, my mood is a lot more stable. So I can tell that I am progressing in that way without really weighing myself. I haven't weighed myself in a while. I have taken some in-body scans and stuff like that, sometimes, not often or anything like that, but there's so many ways to measure progress that are not with your weight. And I do that by how I feel. And I will say one thing, I tried on one of my DFYNE shorts the other day and they were a little bit tighter. And initially I was like, oh God. But then I was like, oh God. You know, and I think a lot of it is just perspective. At the end of the day, your weight and how you look really doesn't matter. It would be so unfair to yourself to live desperately trying to put so much pressure on something that's always going to be changing. I mean, you're even just from an age perspective, right? You're not gonna look the same now versus when you're 55. The habits are what matters, right? Showing up for yourself and growing and eating and taking care of yourself is what matters. What that physically does to me, I'm not too concerned about. Because who are you living for? You know, you're living to feel good. You can look however you'd like to, or, you know, commit to whatever goals that you want to, but at the end of the day, you're the person reporting to you. It's important that you're enjoying your life and your routine. So if you're at a spot right now where maybe you want to start growing or something, but you're nervous about that, ask yourself why. Okay, but also if you knew that you would feel good at the other side of that process, what would you do differently? You don't know all the positive benefits you could potentially be reaping unless you step into that water. And sometimes mentally it's different every single day, but overall I've been feeling a lot better. Stress-wise, I will be honest, I think I'm the most stressed I've ever been, just with like so much going on of like school stuff and coaching stuff, but I'm learning how to regulate it. I'm learning to slow down and I'm trying my best with that. And that's something where I'm even learning to appreciate the monotony sort of food in that way, where tracking is a very helpful tool, and if it helps you, that's great. And it does help me, I know that it does, but I'm trying to do a little bit more free balling it and kind of see what I can accomplish on my own sort of thing. And I know that it's something that could potentially reduce a little bit of stress, but I'm also learning that I can still feel good, hit my goals. I'm still prioritizing protein without knowing. And so that, if anything, reduces stress even more so, because I'm learning, oh, I don't actually need to know to feel good. I don't need to know to progress. I had tracked for so long that I kind of forgot about that a little bit. So that's been very comforting, but overall I've been doing really, really well. Stress is something I'm trying my best. My anxiety has been horrible. It's been really bad. Really a hard part for me. Therapy is helpful for that. You know, having a supportive system is helpful for that. I put a lot of pressure on myself to be perfect, or every video I post to be something very prominent, or every time that I have an idea, I put a lot into it. And I'm proud of myself for holding myself to such a high standard, but I'm really trying to be intentional about making sure that that standard doesn't paralyze me into doing anything at all. Because sometimes I make things out to be like a need to be so perfect that I just do nothing. And then I freak out that I'm doing nothing. I've been really trying to embrace like average effort, if that makes sense, where I can just start studying and stop whenever I want to. I don't have to wait until every little duck is in its line before I start studying, or I can just make a video because it's on my mind. I don't need to wait until my hair looks really good, or until, you know, I'm sitting down with a meal or something like that. I can just make stuff whenever, and I kind of forget that I have that flexibility because I am just like, well, it has to be perfect. And that's comes from recognizing so many limiting beliefs of, well, I have to be sitting here or do this at this time of the day, or wait until I'm finished studying so that it goes well. And it's like, you don't actually know that. And I've been really trying to embrace the averageness of just trying things, not giving myself the pressure of my own expectations, because sometimes that actually is counterintuitive to performing well when you put so much damn stress on yourself. Okay? Really trying to enjoy things more, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I want to save a few for my podcast as well, so I'm saving some of those for that too. But that was so fun. I hope you enjoyed this video and we get to hang out. Thank you guys so much again for supporting me. It means literally everything to me. You guys are my rock, you're my support, and it means so much to me to have creative freedom and to have such a supportive base. I really can't articulate it enough how much it means to me. So let me know what you guys thought of today's video. Okay, what was your favorite question? What was your favorite answer? I hope you're kind to yourself, and I will see you in next week's video. Go get big.